In project 2, we're going to take a look at inserting, moving, and sizing a picture. And then we'll also insert a text box into our worksheet and then format that text box. So as you can see, they already have a bird in there for us. We're going to format that bird, customize it a little bit, and then we'll insert a picture in the background. And then finally we'll add a text box to all of this into cell A1. So the first thing that we're going to do is modify the bird in cell A1. So we need to select it, and when we select it, notice the Picture Tools Format tab appears. And once that appears, then on the Picture Tools Format tab, then we can make some changes to it. And the first thing that they want us to do is to rotate the picture and flip it horizontally. So to do that, we're going to go to the Arrange group, and in the Rotate, or on the Rotate button, we're going to click that. We're going to choose Flip Horizontal. So now he's flying in the other direction. In addition to that, we're going to change the color to black and white. So again, on the ribbon in the Adjust group, we're going to go to the color. And we're going to go black and white, if I can find that. And it's not only black and white, but it's 75%. So we'll click on that. And then we're going to change the height of it to 0.6, and I'm going to press enter to accept that. Now that makes the bird a little bit smaller. And then in the background, we're going to place a picture of the ocean. So in order to do that, I'm going to click outside of the bird image. We don't want it selected, but we want to be in cell A1. And then the picture of the ocean is in our Chapter 8 folder. So to get to that, I'm going to go back to the Insert tab, go to Picture in the Illustrations group. I'm going to go to my flash drive that has the student data files in it. They're in level 1 of Chapter 8. We should see ocean in there. I'm just going to double click on that. That brings in the picture, but notice the bird is in the background. We can't see that. So what we're going to do is take this picture and send it to the background. And to do that, again in the Arrange group, we're going to say Send to Back. And there's a send backward, but if you click on the drop down arrow, you can see that there's a couple of options in that drop down box, and we simply need to choose send backward. And by doing that, then that brings the picture of the bird to the forefront. And then we're going to resize this. They don't give us any exact dimensions, but we're going to resize this picture so that it does fit inside cell A1. I think that's okay. Alright, then next we're going to insert a text box that ultimately will hold text that says Seabird Productions. So to insert a text box, same kind of situation. We go to the Insert tab, and in the Text group, you should see Text Box. And then when you click on that, that turns it on, and then we're going to draw a text box inside of cell A1. It may not be the right shape or anything like that, or the format of it. The size of it may not be what you want, but we'll go ahead and key in or prepare our text box, and then we can resize it later. Okay, so we're going to format the text box first, and instead of having this white fill color, we're going to say no fill, so that's kind of, we'll be able to see through it. So to do that, notice we're still on the drawing tools, but we need to click on the Format tab. And in the Shape Styles group, we're going to go to Shape Fill, and from that drop down list we're going to choose No Fill, and by doing that, notice now we can see through the text box. Also, this white outline, we want to get rid of that. So in order to do that, again, we go to the Shape Styles and the Shape Outline. I'm going to say No Outline, and again that removes it. Okay, but you need to click inside of that so that we can tell that we're inside the text box. And then the actual text is going to be changed to, we want that to be white, and we're going to increase the font size to 32, and the font will be Lucida calligraphy. Oh boy, I need some help pronunciating these words. Alright, so we're going to go back to the Home tab. In the Font group, I'm going to choose Lucida. If that's how you spell it or pronounce it or not. Calligraphy. Alright, so we've got that selected. Then we want to increase the font size of it to 36. And we also want the font color to be white. Okay? And then once we've gotten that, Ooh, we went 32. Sorry, not 36. Okay, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and type in Seabird Productions. And notice in my productions it's taken a couple of characters to the next line. So what we need to do is make the text box a little wider and a little bit taller, and that'll fit it into the text box. And then what we're going to do is take the text box, I'm going to lay my mouse on the border of the text box, get a four-sided arrow, and then I'm going to click and drag that to the right just a little bit. And actually, you know what? I need it on the other side. So I'm going to drag it over here. Then I'm going to take the bird, I'm going to click on that to select it again, get a four-sided arrow, and drag that to the right and kind of fit that in to the right of Seabird and kind of above Productions. Okay, so in Project 2 we modified how an existing picture looks. We also inserted a picture in the background and sent it to the back. And finally we inserted a text box. So a variety of things that we did there in Project 2. In Project 3 we're going to take a look at how we can insert a watermark, which is a picture that appears in the background of a workbook. And to do this we do need to open up a different workbook. So I'm going to close out of our existing one, go back to our student data files, and we're going to open up the file called HCE report. And they have us renaming it. I'm not going to rename it right now, but they ask that we save it under a different name using the same conventions that we have previously. But in other applications you may have specific watermark buttons that allow you to insert watermarks in the background. However, Excel doesn't really have a button that you can click to insert pictures in the background. However, when you insert pictures into a header and footer, you can adjust the size of that within the header and footer pane, and then also make it dimmed in the background, so you can kind of trick it so that the image does appear in the background. And keep in mind, watermarks are basically just lightened images that add visual appeal to our workbook. So what we're going to do initially is go ahead and get into the header footer pane, and to do that we're going to go under the Insert tab again, and then in a text group we're going to choose header and footer, and that will get us into the header and footer preview area so that we can insert our picture. We are in the middle text box here in the header pane, the middle section, and at this point we are going to insert the picture called Olympics, and that is in our Chapter 8 folder as well. So to get to that, we'll go through similar steps that we did previously. We're going to go under the sorry about that. We're going to go to the header footer elements. We don't go to the Insert tab, but the header and footer elements. We'll click on Picture. That gets us to the Insert Picture dialog box. It takes us immediately to our last folder that we were in, which is Chapter 8, and you should see Olympics there. So I'm going to double click on that. That puts a picture. It actually puts in the code that represents the picture Olympics. And then we're going to go ahead, before we actually view this through the normal view, we're going to format the picture so that it is lightened and the size is a little bit different. Actually, let me click outside here. If you don't do anything to it, this is what you're going to get in the background. Okay, so we need to change that so that it's increased in size and also has a lighter image control on it as well. So to do that, if we go back into the middle section, Header Footer Tools Design tab, we're going to go to Format Picture. And within the Format Picture dialog box, we are going to change the height of it. And the height they want to be 10, and the width, we need to deselect this. We're going to deselect the lock aspect ratio so that we can actually put in what we need here. So 10 and then 7.5. All right. In addition to that, we want to go to the Picture tab, and this allows us to make it lightened in color a little bit. So the brightness, we're going to change that to 75. We can just type that in, or you can use your spin boxes. The contrast we're going to make to 25%. I guess they're going to leave the rest of that as is. We may come back and change that. We'll see how it looks after we've made these changes. I'll go ahead and click OK. That's not bad. Okay, and then I'm going to go up and do a print preview. And I'm going to click outside of the header area, and then we're going to preview it. If you'll notice now, we've got this picture in the background. It's a pretty lightened image. I do know you can't see all that, so you might have to switch that to landscape, but you get the idea that you can put a picture in the background. The only issue I might say here too is that you don't want the picture overruling what the data is in your workbook. So if it's difficult to see when you're printing it out, or even when you're viewing it on the screen, then you want to make it lighter in color, or you might want to change your font color as well.